3 a.m. Avoca Beach. I've just done my nightly walk on the beach, and now I'm heading home to do my breathing exercises. You've probably heard of Wim Hof. This breathing exercise, which we followed for a year, has 37 million hits. Every morning we do 40 inhalations, hold our breath for a minute, then 40 more, hold our breath for another minute, and finish with holding for a minute and a half.
Round number 1.
We follow Wim's videos on our large TV.
Breathe in, breathe out.
At first we were breathing in and out to this pentagon shape, holding only 90 seconds.
Into the chest and let out.
But we soon passed that, and we had to move to what we call the iceberg, this field of ice with a shark fin and the wonderful Om sound. These breath holds go for 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and 3.
Let it go and stop. Just stop.
We began these breathing exercises when the pandemic started, thinking they might strengthen our lungs. I've always had weak lungs. My colds always move to my chest, and sometimes I get pneumonia. It all began back in the 60s when I was a student at Stanford University. One weekend I was driving back to Stanford from Los Angeles. I decided to take the inland road through the San Joaquin Valley, not knowing of the menace that lingered there.
When you feel the urge to breathe, pull it up and keep it.
That breath hold was so easy. Now, another 2-minute hold after another 30 deep breaths. I had the windows of my big borrowed car open. It was a very hot day. Gusts blew in with dust. And in that dust, there was apparently a spore that got into my lungs. I had no idea that I was carrying a new intruder. In fact, it was years later only that the spore did its damage. It was not until, ironically, I was working in Canada as a filmmaker and up in the north in the Arctic making a film about their Northern Health Service when I myself became terribly ill. I heard the nurses one night whispering around my bed that the thought was that I would die. There was something terribly wrong with my lungs, but they had no idea what it was. How ironic. Me, a young man then at death's door, and now I'm 83, and I've never felt better.
Keep it.
Thanks, Wim. That 2-minute hold was so easy. Now going for 2:30 and then for 3. So what happened? They couldn't find out what was wrong with me in the north. They flew me to Edmonton and finally to Montreal, where some clever doctor worked out that I'd been in the San Joaquin Valley and I might have picked up the notorious spore, which creates havoc in the lungs. My immune system finally got me better, but I was told that I would always have weak lungs. And so when we discovered Wim Hof, Cartier and I, it was very appealing, the idea that we could strengthen our lungs. So now here we are. We've gone to the 3-minute mark.
When you feel the urge to breathe, you breathe in fully and keep it. Pull in and keep it.
Just done it then. It's too easy. And we're on beyond 3. When we began these breathing exercises, we weren't thinking that it would ward off the virus. But since then, we've found out that Wim Hof feels it might do just that. And we have faith that he's right. It was daughter Ellen who started us, and Katya does it too, every morning now with me. And that's not all that we do. We bushwalk almost every day. And I can be found on the beach at low tide, striding from one end of Avoca to the other, or even in the middle of the night. If there's a low tide at 3 a.m, I'm up and I'm walking that beach. Now on to the next challenge, to create a really cold shower.